Update: AITAH for separating from my husband because he refused to get a vasectomy. I didn't expect so many comments and literally couldn't go through them all. It seemed like the majority of people said I was NTA, but I did get a lot of YTAs telling me I was trying to force him to get a medical procedure and telling me to get one instead. Besides already addressing my reasonings why I made my request in the original post, which I want you to read with real, per my last email, energy, I in no way am forcing him to have a medical procedure, but I am saying that I do not want to be with a partner who is not willing to be snipped. This is an issue of compatibility. The number of children you want, the methods of birth control you're willing to use, those are issues of compatibility and the reason relationships end all the time. If he doesn't want to be sterilized, that's fine, but then that means that we're not compatible anymore, since it means he wants more children and I don't. Beyond that, there were some YTA comments and some DMs that were just nasty, calling me a murderer and saying my body is a cemetery. Sadly enough, I expected those types of comments, because I know there are a lot of Toms out in the world. First, I wanted to address a couple things that kept coming up, because last post turned into thousands of comments that all said about 5 different things, so to avoid my inbox becoming another echo chamber. You're 100% going to have a C-section anyway, so just get a tubal while giving birth. No, I'm not 100% going to have a C-section anyway. Twins are not an automatic C-section. With my birth history, there is no reason to presume that a C-section is in my future. My OB agrees, and has discussed the possibility as doctors have to do, but also said that based on my past 2 birth experiences, I'm a perfect candidate for vaginal delivery. I also am not going to mince words. Tubal ligations are less effective than vasectomies with a much higher likelihood of an ectopic pregnancy. Ectopic pregnancy can kill me. In fact, I got a PM from a woman who is a fellow fertile myrtle who had an ectopic after a tubal. I am rejecting birth control options that, if they fail, would lead to my likely death. I don't want to be pregnant again, but I also don't want to die and leave my children motherless, and in no way should anyone assume that traveling to another state to obtain an emergency abortion will continue to be an option in the future. We live in scary times, and Gilead is a real possibility. The comments seem to have the vibe that people think that ligations are magically more effective than vasectomies, and vasectomies are more of a whisper of sterility than an actual sterilization method, so for those in the back, vasectomies are more effective than tubal ligations, full stop. So I really need y'all to shut up about it. Go to another state and obtain an abortion anyway. I appreciate the personal offers to help I received in DMs deeply, but no. I'm in my 2nd trimester, which I know is still legal in some places. However, I am at a point in my pregnancy where I personally as an individual do not feel comfortable obtaining an abortion, considering I would be even farther along by the time I could travel, which is not only finances, but logistics as well. I am 16 weeks pregnant now. These babies aren't just clusters of cells to me anymore, and I'm not going to expand on that since it's not up for debate. Why not adoption? With love and respect to everyone who has gone through adoption in all its aspects, adoption is absolutely not for me. This is a thought process I already went through 8 years ago, and now that I'm a mother and not a scared teenager, I know it's even less for me. I personally could not go through with it and come out the other side intact. Going through a full pregnancy, having my babies, and then being separated from them would break me. Leave him and give him full custody of the twins. No, because going through a full pregnancy, having my babies, and then being separated from them would break me. Jesus, some of y'all. Just have a sexless marriage. No, I love banging my husband, obviously lol. I don't want to be in a sexless marriage, and anyone who has been to an abstinence-only high school knows that abstinence is not the way lol. There were a lot of comments assuming I would be perfectly fine with holding sex from my husband and having a dead bedroom, and I wouldn't. I have a sex drive. I'm going to want to bang my husband. Wanting to have sex with your spouse is normal. What you would do about birth control if you divorced and dated in the future. I'm not thinking of dating anyone else right now, because I'm thinking more about saving my actual marriage instead of an imaginary relationship. And if theoretically I did, I would probably seek out a partner who was snipped or was ready to be honestly, or a woman. I'm bisexual, so there's a very good chance that my future partner wouldn't have the right parts to knock me up anyway lol. Jack is sabotaging your birth control. I clarified my methods in the original post, as per my last email, but I did want to address this because it came up a lot. I don't have reason to believe that Jack sabotaged my birth control. A number of other fertile myrtles showed up and brought up they or their family members repeated pregnancies in the face of birth control, including tubals. Accusing my husband of reproductive coercion for no reason other than I keep getting pregnant is a big leap and a weighty accusation. I am not the only fertile myrtle out there. There's a reason there's a whole term for it. Your husband is a narcissist, abuser, psychopath, and he does no childcare. My husband and I historically have a really healthy and loving relationship outside of this fight. In fact, this fight is the first time we've really had a fight. We've only ever had little arguments that we've been able to talk through. He's an active father. The reason that I do the majority of childcare is due to circumstance between maternity leaves, our job schedules, and the fact that I breastfed my babies. Someone also presumed I'm the breadwinner, which isn't quite true. Jack makes more than me, but we do not have deeply significant differences in our incomes. When he is home, he does his fair share of cleaning and cooking, arguably more than me at times, and parenting. That being said, the things he said in the heat of the moment were deeply concerning, and we're addressing that together. So to get down to the nitty-gritty of the real update since the last time I posted, Jack and I have sat down together and had a real come-to-Jesus talk. I'm not going to go through the whole breakdown, but it basically boiled down to this: it's the vasectomy, but it's more than the vasectomy. It was wrong of me to compare him to Tom, but it was wronger of him to weaponize my trauma against me in a very malicious way. The way he intentionally used the same language my abuser used in an effort to hurt me was not acceptable and damaged the trust between us. He agreed it was not acceptable and said that in the aftermath he was horrified and ashamed his own words, and that he, as an explanation and not an excuse, kind of snapped under the stress. Oh, and what he said about his next wife was not an indication of him not being committed to me, but was because he felt hurt and wanted to hurt me back. He has apologized numerous times and seems to feel genuinely bad about it. As for the separation, I am still going forward with it. I need space and time, and I need to take that before the babies come. I am still staying with my parents who, for the record, are not sick of me or the kids. We're a tight-knit family. I only moved out when I moved in with Jack, and my sister moved out about a year ago, so they have been empty nesting, and my mom doesn't like that we live too far, an hour away. What I have realized with space and time is how deeply triggering it was, in a way that I cannot explain to those without PTSD from DV. Those who know will know. It's deeply unsettled me, and I'm having a hard time getting over it, so to speak. There is now a lot of fear of my husband that was never there before, and it's going to take a lot to repair that trust and sense of safety. I cannot make a decision while I'm in this space, and I am addressing this with my personal therapist. Overall, I told him that if he wanted to stay married to me, I needed two things from him: marriage counseling and a vasectomy, and even then I still cannot guarantee him anything. He understands, but I do not know what will happen with the vasectomy right now. We focus more on talking about the fight, but he is very aware that it's now a deal breaker. And we have a marriage counseling appointment set up for next week. I'm hoping that counseling will bring some clarity to the situation, and in the meantime, for the next couple months, I'm focusing on giving my kids lots of cuddles and preparing myself for 2 new babies to come into my world, with or without Jack.